So, here we are in a quiet Burbank Hills neighborhood adjacent to the Warner Brothers studios.
We have our handy-dandy red Camaro adorned with a GoPro and a drone above to capture all the action.
What's the action? Glad you asked. This time we're jumping the famous Warner Brothers Studios lot wall.
And we originally attempted to jump the White House lawn fence last year, but if you recall, a certain amazing Amazon stopped us.
But with Wonder Woman currently in federal custody, nothing stands in our way. So let's do it. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh my God, I knew it! You guys are the Camaro boys! I watch your videos all the time. I'm a huge Wonder Woman fan. I know all about what you did in Wonder Woman 1984. I was flying across and I saw your red Camaro and
Woo! That's a bad t-shirt!
It's our first podcast interview, maybe the first of many. Hi, it's Paul K. Bisson, and this is Satin Tights, a Wonder Woman podcast. My wonderful co-host, Ray Caspio, is on special assignment in South America, San Rafael, the capital of Cordova. No doubt he's putting the beat down on some Nazis. Ray, we need you back here in the United States. You got to come back here. So it's just me with not one, but two guests for this first interview podcast. You're going to love this. I've got the star and one of the head writers for an amazing new web series that brings together elements from multiple Wonder Woman iterations, including, but not limited to, the Linda Carter Wonder Woman universe, Phil Jimenez's Wonder Woman comic book universe, Patty Jenkins' theatrical Wonder Woman universe. But honestly, there's so much more. The web series is called The New Adventures of Wonder Boy. That's right. And I'm going to shut up now and let these two guys tell you all about it. First is the Wonder Boy himself, Brian J. Patterson. Brian, are you here?
I'm here.
He is here. Okay. And we're also going to bring in the writer of the Wonder Boy project, Navid Haider. Is it Haider or Haider?
It is. It's Navid Haider. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Brian, you've been a Wonder Woman fan all your life. You're a lifelong Wonder Woman fan.
I sure am.
I remember reading your What Would Wonder Woman Do blog.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a very moving and very deeply affecting me, and I loved it. You don't do it anymore, sadly. I think this has probably taken up a lot of your Wonder Woman
bandwidth.
Exactly.
It is.
And can you share with the Satin Tights listeners, how did you meet Wonder Woman?
Well, of course, I'm on the Satin Tights podcast, so I'm going to tell you it was the TV show. It was Linda Carter.
Yes.
Just like many, many diehard Wonder Woman fans, Linda Carter was, the impetus for our borderline obsession. And for me, it is practically an obsession, at least my friends will tell you, because I think that she really embodied the character. She was this walking grace. And I think that's what Wonder Woman really is about. It's about grace, it's about love, it's about power, but ultimately it's grace because, the message of Wonder Woman is love. It's love meets wisdom, but in order to show people love, you have to have grace. And Linda Carter, when she walked on screen, she wasn't angry. She wasn't, profane. She didn't want to always teach people a lesson. She was all about the compassionate grace. And I think that is why, for me, Linda Carter will always be the ultimate Wonder Woman.
She's timeless in that
She
way.
is.
Like she will always embody that.
Yes. And I know that this is a trendy word that people are using right now, but I don't really think that people understand how much it truly applies to Linda Carter. She is truly iconic.
Iconic. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So what are some of the things that you have done? Was that blog, What Would Wonder Woman Do? Was that your real first sort of public expression of that, putting that out there?
That was it's funny. I come from a Pentecostal family. You know, I went to a private Christian school, and I also went to a private Catholic college. And so what I often found, and I know I'm going to take a lot of heat for saying this, what I often found is that the compassion and the love and the grace that Wonder Woman showed people was not always present with some of the Christian community that I used to be a part of when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this strange juxtaposition between Jesus Christ and Wonder Woman because she really is a Messiah-like figure.
Right, right.
She has a divine birth. She comes from, you know, if you're thinking Marstonian, she comes from two goddesses who both have divine births that have no fathers involved. Aphrodite and Athena had no fathers involved in their birth. And so she came from this line of women who also divine births. And so it seemed like they were there to exemplify what bringing love truly was. And I didn't see that with a lot of people in the Bible. I saw it with Jesus Christ, but I didn't see a lot of his followers, you know, following that same message. But I would slowly put these parallels together with, you know, how Wonder Woman's birth was divine. Jesus Christ's birth was divine. Wonder Woman was, you know, the chosen. Jesus Christ was the chosen. Wonder Woman would exemplify what to do. Jesus Christ would exemplify what to do. And I was like, wait a minute. There's one subtle difference here is I actually know Wonder Woman's not real. And I don't think that a lot of followers of Christ realize that these are stories just like Wonder Woman is story. So I was like, let me make the correlation here. And so that's what got me to start writing it. Now, before I started What Would Wonder Woman Do, I was in a commercial for eBay about my relationship with Wonder Woman.
I saw that. I love that commercial.
That was a really good commercial. I remember that as well.
Thank you. When I practiced martial arts, it empowers me to be a more confident person. Funny how a female character inspired me to practice a masculine hobby. I am Brian J. Patterson, part comic book collector, part martial artist. Every comic book collector identifies with at least one character. Mine just happens to be Wonder Woman. I come to find that very much like, and I talked this over with my friend Boston Blake, who is like a Wonder Woman authority. And we talked about how I said, hey, Boston, check this out. You know, there's Marston, there's Perez, there's Jimenez, there's Simone, there's, you know, all of these writers. These are very much like authors of the Bible, like books of the Bible. Do you see the parallel? And he was like, wow, actually I do. And so I would reference these different authors who I think are authorities on her.
Oh, yeah.
And I would come up with what she would do, because I think a lot of these, you know, main authors, especially, and I forgot to mention Greg Rucka, I think a lot of these authors really understood her stance of loving kindness, of compassion, of grace. And I think they're the best reference.
When you're reading her, you know if she's being written well. You know if she's being written right. And there have been writers who have not done her justice, but there have been writers like Perez, like Rutka, like Phil, and definitely at the root, Marston. I mean, Marston's Wonder Woman is such a bold and unabashed fountain of just love and life, and I don't care. This is who I am, and this is who I'm going to share myself with you.
I would add the word sincerity to it because that's something we also
Mhm.
associate with the Linda Carter series
Yes. Yes.
I think it's a good one.
with her heroism, and you don't really necessarily see that with other characters in not just superhero shows and genres, but in other works of fiction as well. With Wonder Woman, you do have the sense of sincerity. So I would add that too.
Yeah, and sincerity goes hand in hand with truth. It sounds kind of, corny when you say, the truth shall set you free, and you can have your opinion about something. You can have your ideologies, but the truth is the truth. And I love how Wonder Woman holds the truth up. And just to go back for a moment about Diana and Jesus, the farther you get away from Jesus and more into organized religion, I think that's
where you go wrong.
You go wrong.
Yeah.
You really go wrong, because when you think about Jesus, when you think about Christ, you think about what he taught and what he did. And then there's what religion does is they like to interpret, and they like to tell you what Jesus meant
What to think.
and how to think about that. Exactly. And
also how to be.
oh gosh, yeah. Rather than reading about him and his life and what he's saying and letting that speak to you, letting that guide you. I mean, that's, there's a big difference. But hey, I could go off all day on organized religion.
Agreed. And to your point, there's something in the Marston stories that you could see him encouraging people to do, and it was to be their authentic self. And I'll never forget, there's a story, and I can't remember which one it is, where Wonder Woman approached this husband. She had tried approaching him as Diana, and then she had to approach him as Wonder Woman, using exemplifying disc, using the approach that
Yes.
yeah, the disc theory to figure out which approach would be best for this person. Well, she finally approached him as Wonder Woman, and she said, here's what you need. You need to be someone to be more dominating in your life, because Wonder Woman was the D in disc. Diana was more the S.
Right.
So she encouraged him to be his authentic self. And then once she introduced someone who was a little more dominating in his life, he felt more comfortable. And I think that's the thing about Marston. He was actually a healer. As a psychologist, you are called to heal people, to become their best self and to their most balanced self. And I think, and this is just my theory, and this is kind of like a revelation that I've recently come to, I think that what Marston was trying to do is he was giving Wonder Woman to America, saying, this is what should heal you. Here are all of your issues, and here is the solution. Here's what's going to make you better. Here's the antidote. And it was Wonder Woman. And I think that he was ahead of the curve talking about toxic masculinity before it was even popular.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
I don't think you can get away from the fact that Marston was such an interesting character, and he was a psychologist. I don't think you can get away from the fact that a psychologist has created a superhero, and you cannot just, it would be impossible for him to just tell an adventure story. He has to reach into the more human story. He has to teach.
Yeah.
He has to do more.
There is the message on what should be done and what should not be done. Yes, there's the whole moralism to all the scripts back from the 40s. But also add to what Brian was saying is that his role as a healer, I think that came to the forefront as well. Like all of those early Wonder Woman stories, she was in some capacity trying to heal the main antagonist or the bad guy on that particular issue.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I mean, well, that's a major component of Wonder Woman was reformation. Now, I want to switch gears and talk to Navid. How did you get involved in this project?
Well, I was always a Wonder Woman fan, specifically because my mom introduced me to the character when I was very young. Yes, it was the Linda Carter show.
Yes.
Yeah, they
Hello.
were like
Awesome.
old recordings of the Linda Carter show that was on the air at the time. By the way, I'm writing from Dhaka, Bangladesh, but most of my time I grew up in Saudi Arabia. So when earlier we were talking about the idea of organized religion and all sorts of limitations there, I grew up in a community where Wonder Woman was completely censored. The comics were banned.
Oh, I would imagine, yeah.
And so for me, it was whenever we would either get out of Saudi Arabia, when we were like visiting, relatives in the United States, or when we're coming back to Bangladesh in our hometown, that's when I would buy the comics, and that's where I would like get my kind of sample of superhero comics. And okay, so this is what the main character is about, and to kind of skip ahead to how Brian and I kind of interacted and met. It was during the pandemic, during the time when all of us were just homebound and sort of glued to the internet a lot. And that's when Brian and I, we first started talking on Twitter, I believe, like back when Twitter was in its heyday, I guess.
Yes.
So yeah, that's around the time when we start talking about just trying to get our love of woman out there. I think it was around the same time when they released Wonder Woman 1984 in the Patty Jenkins film, but they also subsequently canceled the third film.
Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah.
As a Wonder Woman fan, you're like, no, we wanted that trilogy. We wanted at least 3 big Wonder Woman movies out there, but then you're like, well, okay, was that the best way to move forwards or not? One of the last things that Patty Jenkins tweeted about was on her list, on her tweets. She said, I leave you all with this great character. So just ask yourselves every day, what would Wonder Woman do? And I saw that and I was like, and I immediately, shared that with Brian. I was like, this is you. She's basically telling you right now. You have to respond to this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'll never forget that.
So, doing a live action Wonder Boy, what sparked that?
So I'm just going to open up a little bit here and delve into a little difficult territory for me.
I've read the blog.
Yeah, you read it. You're right.
There's also, I remember you posted a very long video. You were sitting at a desk and you go into depth about the things that are going on in your life. And I remember like, oh my goodness,
You always want to give Brian a big hug at that point.
Exactly. And you're watching this and it's impactful, but I will let you continue, Brian.
Well, I always say that this project was born from a little bit of trauma. I was making a living as a performer in San Francisco. I was with San Francisco Opera. I was doing, so many commercials, and I was in some short films, and I was literally living my best life, I felt at the time, because it's something, in high school I was voted most talented because I was involved with theater and everything like that, and it was just something I always wanted to do. So I made it a living. I actually made it, and I couldn't believe that. I was like, wow, I'm employed. This is what I do for money every day now. This is great. And then it's like the world folded in. And this happened just before the pandemic. So I was, yeah. So not only was I experiencing this heavy loss of something that I felt healed me, it was something that I felt was my identity. So I had my identity pulled away from me. Then the pandemic happened and I didn't know what else to do. And because I had come to LA to try to get it restarted and it wasn't restarting.
Right.
And so I'm sitting there in the pandemic and I'm rereading all of these old Wonder Woman comics. And I happened across Phil Jimenez's and I was like, oh, I forgot how much I loved this.
Right.
And as I'm reading the story, I realize, oh my God, that's me. That kid right there, that's me. And so I was like,
Issue 188.
yes. And so I'm thinking to myself, where is Wonder Boy? Because she dubbed him Wonder Boy.
Right.
And then where's Bobby Barnes?
Yes.
Where has Bobby Barnes been ever since that particular appearance?
Yes. And so she basically told him in no uncertain terms, you are a superhero. And I felt like she was talking to my inner child.
Oh, yes.
And so I was like, I'm going to make him a superhero because that's who he is. He can overcome anything. And so I came up with a whole story about him. And I think that's when I reached out to Navid because I was on this mission. Like I was reaching out to all these people.
Right.
I reached out to a songwriter. I reached out to, another songwriter. I reached out to some film people.
I have to say, it is impressive when you go to the Wonder Boy website. It is impressive the number of people that you really have working on this with you, and in some capacity or another,
or have worked on it at one point or another.
When did you know that, okay, it's not just something I want to do, it's something I am going to do?
It's when I turned around to Steve Trevor and I said, it's what I'm going to do. No.
I love it.
Just kidding. I think after I put the comic down, after finishing reading it, and I went to my best friend and I said, here I am in this new city. I've been in over 120 commercials, which is the same amount that the Capital One guy has been in.
Right.
I have been in films. I have been on one of the top stages in the world. I've been employed there. I'm in the unions. And what's going on? Why can't I get in any doors? Why is no one listening to me? And I said, and I looked around and I thought to myself, well, what kind of roles am I going to play? And I was like, that one. So I was like, I'm going to make one. So I just made it. And I realize now I'm getting too old to play Wonder Boy, even though he's 33 years old in my iteration. I'm like, okay, I'm definitely aging out of Wonder Boy. I may end up playing one of his mentors. But
you look marvelous, darling.
Thank you, darling. But, that was the impetus. I was like, I want to create something that is inclusive and that properly takes on the mantle of Wonder Woman, but most importantly, the message. Because I think that over the past 40 so years, we have lost the message, which is the message of love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Holy cow. How many of these segments have you released?
Navid?
We are currently in a sort of like pre-season, right? That's what we're calling it, like the pre-season
We are,
season.
yeah.
And we're like on the verge of kind of wrapping up these like little like all the things that you've seen with the segments.
Mm-hmm.
So we're currently working on a big conclusion to all of those before the
Yes.
actual season starts, with the stories that you see sort of outlined and hinted at in the on the website, as well as some other stuff that we've been working on, which has never been actually made public yet.
Mm-hmm. Surprises. That's all I'm hearing. I'm hearing you talk. I'm hearing, we've got some surprises coming.
Yes. So next, I am going to the editor's house, and we are going to wrap up editing the proof of concept trailer, which will show everyone Wonder Boy's backstory, how he got his powers.
This is, see, now we're getting into the real. And I want to,
his villain, because he has a new villain.
I want to get into these wonderful actors you have with you playing opposite you.
Yeah.
I want to get into the writing process with Navid, but I definitely want to get into your decision to drop these sort of bite-sized moments to introduce characters or to introduce moments, always pushing Bobby forward a little bit. How is the decision made to do that instead of, why not the origin story first?
It's funny. Navid and I talked about this. We were talking about how I think that we're on the same page as James Gunn, because we would be reading things and we'd be like, well, I think we're on the same page as James Gunn. We don't know him, but I think we're on the same page. We'd always be saying this. And funny enough, Superman is done in media res, just like Wonder Boy is.
Yeah, in the middle of the story.
Right in the middle of
That's fascinating. So you felt we were right in the way we handled this.
Yeah.
You feel good about it.
I do.
Now, the thing is, like, we do have the origin written down. We have all of the stuff written down.
Yes.
we're just releasing it in a way so that it's much more of a dramatic reveal.
Well, it's definitely impactful. I mean, you instantly you see Bobby, you see he's got power, he's meeting these other famous characters. So we're definitely, you hook us right away, which I think is probably what you wanted to do.
Which is good because here's the funny thing, and I think this might be a reveal, maybe. What you have seen so far is literally his first day of having powers.
I love it. It's a little bit of a mix of William Catt, Greatest American Hero, but I love that you've got Kale. I love that you've got Superboy. I love that you had Superman. I love that you had Mama Juju. Hello.
Oh, yes.
Holy cow. And for the people that are not Bronze fans, Bronze Wonder Woman is the Wonder Woman I grew up with of my childhood.
Yes.
Jose Delbo was my Wonder Woman artist as a kid.
Same here.
We wanted to bring as many obscure and overlooked Wonder Woman characters, secondary characters as possible.
Yes.
Because, and here's the thing, like, as Wonder Woman fans, one of the most frustrating thing is that we see all of these other spin-offs. We see Supergirl, we see, Teen Titans, we see, Gotham and prequel shows getting greenlit. But as Wonder Woman fans, we want to kind of go into those other secondary characters as well. And I remember with Mother Juju, this was a character who had such a profound impact on me when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
She's this character who was in Washington, D.C., I believe, in the comics. But when Diana meets up with her, she is dropping references to like partition era India. And she is talking about my part of she's talking about Bangladesh and places around my region of the world. And so I was like, oh, this is a character that I really want to see. And I went, like, whenever I would talk to, a DC author or something, I would be like, so when will you bring Mother Juju back? And some of them would be like,
who
is, well, yeah, who exactly? Who?
But that's fantastic. You're both informing each other of bits and pieces and periods and moments of your own passion with Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and also Bobby is a forgotten character, so I wanted to surround him with forgotten characters.
Are we going to see more?
Oh, yes. Yes. There's Navid and I have been writing a short film, which is the culmination of everything that we've seen. And it's going to be the introduction of Wonder Boy's villain, who is going to take up most of the time of the short film. And Navid, do you think it's okay if I just tell them kind of about the villain?
I mean,
Give us a little bit. Come on.
I'm all for spoiler alerts, but go ahead, go for it.
Okay, so spoiler alert. If you're listening, cover your ears. But our villain is going to resemble someone who happens to be in government. Trump right now.
Wow. Dude.
And we are going to, yet another spoiler alert, tie in Tom King's comic world.
Oh, wow. Well, that's another thing I wanted to talk about.
Oh, good.
You are blending
A lot.
You're blending definitely Phil Jimenez's world. You're blending Linda Carter world and Rucka's characters and characters from the Bronze Age.
There is a rhyme and reason to using all of these characters.
Yes.
Mostly because, well, with some of the things in the current Tom King run, they kind of harken back to some of the themes from the Greg Rucka era, which also kind of reflects back to some of the Marston era material that's there.
Yes.
So with the idea of one of the main villains for Wonder Boy, Brian and I, we were kind of looking into these issues in Sensation Comics back in the 40s, where there was this use of, overtly politicizing and using, myth in a sense where it's a political tool rather than as a purely spiritual tool. And we want to use those themes, and we want to kind of ground all of that through Bobby's perspective and how he kind of addresses all of that from his point of view. I'm glad that, Paul, you mentioned all of these, obscure characters, because there are so many more to come that I'm sure that Wonder Woman fans, they would know instantly which characters are being adapted.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. You've got fans who love the comic, don't care for the TV show. You got fans who their only connection is really the TV show or the movies and not the comics, and the some of the movies who don't care for the TV show. But you've got something in your production. You've got something for every one of those people.
Yeah, and we had to legitimize Bobby, which is why we had special guest appearances by some people like, Deathstroke and Cassandra Calle, Superboy, Superman, but specifically, one of the ways that I thought that more modern audiences would legitimize him and would know where he came from is when I got the Camaro Boys from Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman 1984.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Camaro Boys vlog channel.
Today's vlog is a second attempt at the stunt we tried last year in DC.
That's right, our signature move, now called the Wonder Woman spin.
I wanted to get to the Camaro Boys. How'd you do that?
I was very bold, and I mean very bold, and I put together a letter of intent, and I reviewed it and reviewed it and reviewed it until I had it exactly the way I wanted it. I happened to be working on a documentary at the time. I was part of the casting department of a documentary, and I had access to a lot of casting stuff, and so when I finally, dredged up the nerve to reach out to these guys, because I had this idea when Wonder Woman 1984 happened, I kept watching the scene over and over and over and over again because I would just talk about it for weeks and weeks with my best friend. I was like, and then they could do this. And then, and I was like, we got to get these actors. We got to get these actors. And the reason why I wanted to get these actors is because I hope that I'm not misspeaking when I say this, but they seem to exemplify the thing that Bobby was not.
Oh, yes.
And Bobby's superpower comes from his compassion, and they were frat boys.
Bobby's definitely not a bruh.
No, not at all. And so I thought that these are going to be, and spoiler alert, another one, these are going to be one of many, many people that Bobby's going to encounter, and then all of a sudden, they're just going to be friends because everyone just likes Bobby because he's just his authentic self, and he's kind, and he's compassionate. And how can you not like that?
How can you not? That's fantastic. And that was bold. I was like, whoa, how did he? That's amazing. And you could have just gotten actors to be those characters, but you wanted to get the actors.
I needed them.
That's supreme.
Yeah. And so when I reached out to them, I actually flew. One was in DC, and I flew him out.
Wow.
And he stayed at my apartment.
Wow.
In my guest bedroom.
Commit to the bit.
Yeah, I was fully committed. I was like, all right, I have a guest bedroom in my apartment. You can stay there. I'll fly you out. I'll pay you. I'll this, I'll that, your food.
Amazing.
Like, I'm going to treat this because it was a SAG contract. So I had to treat it like a SAG contract.
Yeah.
I made it happen. It was bold, but we did it.
So what has the response been to what you've released so far, and the way that you've released it? Has it been beneficial? Has you seen the response to these sort of bite-sized releases, and what's the response been to some of the story that's been happening in them?
So it's been nothing but positive. I mean, people have nothing but positive things to say, and they're encouraging. And I was really surprised at that because I was so afraid of the criticism that was going to come along with it. I was afraid that people were not going to understand his message. I was afraid that they were going to think that it was all those things that Marston talked about, being associated with being kind, is people would think it was weak and that it wasn't good and that it wasn't strong. And I was wrong.
So happy to be wrong, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Navid, how do you feel about the response?
One of the very surprising responses that we received early on was when Gail Simone herself, she
Retweeted something.
saw some of the music videos and she retweeted it. She was like, "This is interesting."
Oh, nice.
And it doesn't really get more of like a seal of approval than when you get it directly from someone like Gail Simone.
Agreed.
It's pretty amazing. So what's the next? What are we gonna see? What's next for us?
So the next thing for the audience is, number one, we want to release the proof of concept trailer. There's a special song that was literally, and it's really strange. I really believe that this is divine somehow. Is that one of my best friends in the world, Justin Renaissance, he's an artist. He wrote a song about me, and I paired it up with the Wonder Boy proof of concept trailer. And it literally tells the story of Wonder Boy. And it was, sometimes I can't stop crying when I hear the song, because it's just, for me, it's so powerful because I hear so much of this character in it too. So there's the proof of concept trailer. And then we are going to shoot this short film, which is all about the villain and Wonder Boy's, what he's up against. And it's going to really have a lot of information in it. It's going to be a long, short film, but it's going to have a lot of information in it. You're going to see a culmination of all the little bits that have been all put out. And then Navid and I are going to write two things after this. We're going to write a pilot for a TV show. And we're also going to finish writing the pilot for the TV show. And we're also going to finish writing a feature film.
Wow. That's a lot on your plate.
Yeah.
These are stories we're just very eager to kind of tell.
Yeah.
And, it's...
Well, I'll tell you, when you meet somebody that sort of ignites each other's fire.
that's like your best combo. That's like the best way to kind
It
of...
really is. And you can't do anything but sort of create together.
Yeah.
Create, man. It's what it's all about.
And in my opinion, I really, truly believe that the world needs Wonder Boy right now.
Indeed. Holy cow. I'm right there with you, man. We do need Wonder Boy.
The world actually needs Wonder Woman and her message. And I think that Wonder Boy is the more modern and appropriate vessel for it right now.
Yeah, like with Wonder Woman, it's that with all the genres of fantasy and the subgenres of fantasy and mythology that she kind of inspires, you do need a subgenre for, within the broader strokes of a Wonder Woman franchise.
Agreed.
So with Wonder Boy, we are kind of filling in a niche that both Brian and I, we feel that the other characters are really not touching upon. So those stories are not being told with any of the other characters out there at the moment. Which is why I think, yes, Wonder Boy is definitely a story that not just worth telling, it needs to be told right now, as Brian said.
And if I can just nerd out for 1 minute and say this.
Please.
I truly believe that DC Comics has a problem. Their problem is one word, and it's continuity. If they would stop messing with continuity and just write the stories that are already there. There's a plethora of stories. How many minutes are in a day? How many hours are in a day? You can tell so many stories just from one 24-hour period. And that's across every single character in the DC universe. Why do we have to keep resetting the universe? We don't need to. We need to just keep look for the hours in between those few days that we don't talk about and just fill in the gaps.
Fill in the gaps.
I think that Wonder Boy is an exemplification of this. He's going into the gaps of a Wonder Woman story and just filling it in.
There is that gap. And what Brian just said about continuity is that this is one of the reasons why we decided to kind of stick to Earth 76, which is the Linda Carter timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And while we were kind of discussing about where the stories would be going and things like that, we did consult with Andy Mangels on this.
Yes, Andy. He's in the vault, by the way. We're going to bring him milk and cookies later. You guys are probably like, what? Our audience will know.
I had a feeling you'd have him locked up back there.
Yeah.
If I can just say this, I've consulted with him once, and Navid has consulted with him once.
Specifically on the timelines.
Yeah, I would like to say that I want you to think about this, and this is how I know that this project is borderline divine. When Phil Jimenez was wrapping up his Wonder Woman run, he reached out to Andy Mangels and asked Andy Mangels for advice about what a lot of her costuming would look like, because he wanted to represent the TV show properly. So, in my opinion, Andy Mangels had a lot to do with Wonder Boy's creation in the comics.
In that particular issue, in fact, in issue 188.
Yes. And it's even mentioned in the issue.
Yeah,
He
where
gives him
Bobby
a nod.
makes his appearance. Yeah.
Now think about this. When I went to shoot the proof of concept trailer and I started this project back in 2020, I reached out to Andy Mangels. So not only is Andy Mangels one of the forefathers of the comic of Wonder Boy being created in his inception, but he's also one of the forefathers of Wonder Boy being created on film.
Look at that. See, Andy? Andy, you are like the godfather of Wonder Boy.
He is.
He'll love that. He will absolutely love that.
And to Navid's point, I named this show The New Adventures of Wonder Boy because it's all based on Wonder Woman's second season, Linda Carter.
Yeah.
You know, and to that point, are we going to get a once you've got enough footage and you've released enough stuff, are we going to get a season 2 or season 3 main title opening in the style of CBS?
I'm not sure. I've thought about that. I'm not sure. That's going to be tough to pull off.
Oh, come on. It'll
I
be
really-
so easy. If you've already shot
I
the
do
footage,
wanna do
and
it.
you've already, then we just, listen to me. I'm inserting myself into your production already.
I do want to do it.
Look, this has been so much fun, and I can sit here all day and just geek out about this stuff. I love what you've done so far. I love
Good.
it. Has been a very equitable production. You've done some really nice things visually.
Well, we couldn't have done it without the cast and crew. They are essential, and I mean essential. From the music to the shots, to the lighting, to the costumes and the makeup and the acting and the performances. It's been truly amazing.
It really has. It really has. I want to thank you guys for stomping in, and I know our listeners are very happy that I've talked to both of you today. And can you share how, if you want to, if anybody wants to get in touch with you guys, how they can do that and how they can keep up on the developments of the new adventures of Wonder Boy?
I think that the best way that they can kind of stay in touch or stay up to date is by following us on the YouTube channel, because that is where we're releasing everything that we have so far. And yeah, I think, isn't that right, Brian?
I agree. And we have a website. It's called wonderboytv.com. But all of our social media, we have Blue Sky, we have Twitter, we have, Threads, and we also have Instagram. Every single social media is at Wonderboy TV Show.
Do you like to get fan mail? Do you like to get letters
Yes.
to say, hey, we love you?
Email us.
Just reach out to us with whatever questions you have. Like, I'm most of the time online anyway. So yeah. I would encourage people to kind of reach in and interact with us. That's always helpful. That's always encouraging.
Fantastic. And I will
We'll tell you all the secrets.
please, we need the secrets. And all those links and everything, they'll be up on the Satin Tights website too. For
Awesome. Thank you so much.
This edition, so it'll be a
Awesome.
nice gateway. Brian J. Patterson, Navid Haider, thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank you.
And I wish you guys the best of luck. Bobby's motto, your production's motto, lead with love. Please continue to do so, and we will follow.
We plan on it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that.
And as for you, our Satin Tights listeners, thank you so much for joining me. Stay tuned for our next deep dive into the Linda Carter TV series when my co-host, the awesome Ray Caspio, will be back. Thanks again to Brian and Navid. I'm Paul K. Bisson. See you next time.
Calm yourself, child. Mother Juju gonna help fix everything.